I should pledge. A moment of silence, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone.
I'm not walking out, but...
Just so everyone's aware, the meeting is filmed and taped. We'll move into our public hearing. We have updating of the floodplain regulations and updating definitions for mobile homes, RVs, etc. Mike, would you like to address this?
Ordinance 248 is our ordinance to update our floodplain ordinance the way it exists today to what was required by FEMA to be compliant. There are new maps being adopted on the 21st of March this year. It's been working for quite a while. There's really minor changes to the floodplain ordinance. It's just kind of a rearranging of a few things. FEMA reworded some things, but basically it's basically unchanged. The major changes are that they've reduced the size of accessory structures that would be allowable from 600 square feet to 200 square feet. And that is the actual major change. That's kind of that in a nutshell.
Okay.
I don't think you want me to go through and read the whole thing.
No, that's fine.
Thank you.
All right.
Mike, can you go over the reasoning for reducing it from 600 to 200?
I can't really because we don't have any explanation. It's just something they changed this year.
Shocking.
I don't know if there was a history of larger. They can still get those by variance up to 600 square feet.
Mm. Okay.
Did you say structures?
Accessory structures like sheds and things like that.
And this is bringing the ordinance in line with a federal mandate, essentially, or
That's
state.
correct.
Yeah.
We actually have a deadline. This has to be adopted before the 21st of March, or it puts all these 12 municipalities at risk of losing their ability to have coverage for floodplain or flood insurance coverage.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Have you notified the townships of this change in any form of communications?
Yes, everybody was talking. Oh, no, our 12. And these updates weren't done on our part. They were coordinated through the DCED. They hired a floodplain expert, if you will, and she worked with us. Warren County has a little bit different setup as far as zoning goes as most of the state. Most municipalities are required to adopt their own, which they are pushing us to do for the 12 that we oversee. But we worked with them where they're allowing us to do that for them, the 12 that we have jurisdiction over.
So you're working with all the county municipalities, or
No,
just the 12
12
you
under
oversee?
the zoning ordinance. The remaining of them had to adopt an ordinance on their own.
Okay.
And what that did, that allowed our 12 municipalities to avoid having their own zoning hearing board, their own floodplain administrator, their own zoning officer, saving them quite a bit of
Time and effort.
and dollars.
All right. Any further questions from the board?
I don't have it.
Public, please.
Yeah, I'm
Could you
just
tell
wondering-
us your name, please?
I'm John Abel. I live in North Warren. I'm
Thank you,
just
John.
wondering if, does this mean the county has adopted the FEMA maps without any challenge?
The maps were actually created in 2010, and there's a period of time during which if someone disagrees with those maps, they can file challenges to them. That time passed some time ago. I couldn't actually tell you the date. That was
So in the intervening 7 years, many of these streams are living things. They change course. Is there a process to revise these maps?
There is. You can actually file what are called LOMRs, that are letter of map revision or letter of map amendments. But that's done on an individual parcel basis.
So that's something we would do with FEMA.
No, it would start with us.
Okay.
And then would go through FEMA.
And then would that have to then be recorded into the ordinance or into?
Not in the ordinance. You'd be amending the actual map that FEMA creates. And then
Okay.
they issue that.
Okay. So does the county assist with that process?
We file the papers. The fees involved would fall back to the property owner.
Do you know what those fees are?
They would probably vary from parcel because it involves surveyors and engineers. That's the major expense.
And if there are no challenges, how often does FEMA update those maps?
When they feel it's necessary. The current maps now range anywhere from 1978 to 80s to the 90s. So there's no rhyme or reason that I'm aware of the time schedule when they update maps.
Thank you.
Any further questions regarding the floodplain? Moving on to the updating definitions for mobile home and RV.
This is going to be ordinance 247, and its intent is to update the ordinance definitions for manufactured homes, industrial homes, and RVs. This was driven by some events that happened late last year, where currently, let me back up a bit. Currently, our ordinance says after you have an RV parked for 180 days, it falls under the same criteria as a mobile home, which we've learned that the UCC construction code, they will not issue occupancy permits for an RV, no matter what. So we needed to change our definitions to align with the current industry standard of what those are. Mobile home, the term mobile home really hasn't existed since 1976. So there are certain criteria by the UCC that will define what's manufactured home, which today is single wides, double wides that don't sit on they still have a frame and wheels underneath it, or the ability to have wheels underneath it to be moved. The modular homes are the industrial homes that are built off-site in a factory intended to sit on a foundation permanently without the chance of being moved. RVs, and that includes, and I'm really summarizing all these, but includes the park models. We threw in tiny houses because those also don't meet the UCC construction code. And RVs are anything that's built to an ANSI standard instead of a UCC standard. And this is more of a construction code issue than a zoning permit type of thing. We can issue zoning permits, but they'll be meaningless because they won't get an occupancy permit from whoever does the construction code for the different municipalities. Now, a lot of people were worried. Pennsylvania still has a thing called the Pennsylvania Recreational Cabin Affidavit that excludes camps from the building code. This won't apply to those. This applies to, somebody's fifth wheeler that they want to make their permanent home. So they still be able to use them for camp with the camp affidavit. They can still, park Uncle Joe's RV in the driveway for 3 months during the summer, as long as it's not meant to be a permanent dwelling.
Mm-hmm.
I do have a question in regard to that.
Sure.
Doesn't that conflict though with the zoning change that you're making?
No, actually, I got some clarification from one of our UCC officers,
Mm-hmm.
and she said that this really only applies, the RV issue, to people that want to live them on a permanent basis. So if Uncle Joe comes and wants to park his RV for a year, that would be a different scenario. It wouldn't be considered seasonal or recreational.
Okay, so you're saying that if Uncle Joe came and parked his RV on my property and wanted to connect to the utilities, he'd be permitted to do that?
Yes,
Okay.
For a period of time, or?
for a period of, there's no set time as far as number of days. The way they spell it out is by seasonal or recreational. Now, if Uncle Joe plans on staying for an extended period of time,
By extended, you mean like over 6 months?
I would say it's going to be a gray area.
Right.
Just so you know, we're not talking about Joe, right? I saw you raise your hand. I just.
This information actually came from Marianne Now, the BCO of the City of Warren.
Mhm.
And these definitions were actually created by a gentleman named Mike Locally at DCED, who was in charge of the manufactured industry regulations for Pennsylvania.
So again, we're to understand that this isn't going to affect like seasonal, access to these
No.
utilities. Okay.
Okay. Any further questions from the board? We'll open it up to the public.
I have a question for you, Michael. Uncle Joe brings his mobile home, parks it on my property. Does he have to hook up to the sewer system, or can he use his holding tank in his RV or mobile home, whatever you want to call it? And how does he get rid of the waste that he uses in his holding tank rather than hooking up to the sewer system that is running past his property?
Well, in the aspect of an RV, I know you said mobile home, I know you mean like motor home or whatever.
Yes.
They would be permitted to connect to the sewer system of their brother's house, if that's where they're at. They wouldn't have to. How they would dispose of it, they'd have to periodically go to a disposal site like an RV park or a campground and empty out their tanks.
But a municipality is losing money by allowing them to park on a parcel of land and use a holding tank, and then they have to go somewhere to dump it. When it's a sewer system is running past that parcel of land.
Well, that parcel, the RV, the camper wouldn't be the primary structure on that site. There'd
It's
be
still a structure on
Right.
the property. That's what I can't understand. You're allowing people to park whatever kind of a vehicle, recreational vehicle, but they can hook up to electricity and I assume natural gas, but you are not telling them that they have to hook up to the municipality sewer system. So they're actually getting different up. Where the neighbor who has the home on the parcel, he has, if the sewer system goes by his residence, he has to hook it up to our system. But somebody can live on their property for 6 to a year or longer, and they're saying they're making a recreational vehicle their residency, but they're not abiding by the municipality's ordinances for sewer and other utilities.
I wouldn't envision someone using that for that length of drive, because this is actually meant for seasonal and recreational use. So 6 months in a year, I wouldn't consider that seasonal or recreational. That'd be
I could park a mobile home on my property for 6 months, move it 5 feet, and I have relocated it then. So now I can stay another 6 months. But I think you're opening a can of worms for municipalities.
It's not based on a time factor. It's the seasonal and recreational use that comes into play.
I think what somewhat of the issue here might be is defining what seasonal is and the amount of time
Yeah.
seasonal.
And we can entertain that. We can define what's seasonal, what's recreational compared to what's considered a permanent dwelling.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't part of this because this is actually driven by the construction code, really. We could add that if
Mhm.
that's something.
And would that need to go through the planning commission board?
Yes.
Okay.
Again, I'd highly recommend, this is getting to the point where people that don't want to hook up properly to utilities are going to be parking campers on a partial land throughout the county, and they're just going to say they're only here seasonal. But it depends what season you're talking about. So I can move a recreational vehicle on a friend's partial land, and I'll use it as a home, but you're classifying it as a recreational seasonal piece of property, and I can't understand that.
I think the scenario you're describing may be different than what
Yeah.
the intended use would be. Are you talking about you've got a vacant piece of land somewhere and you go park your RV?
I have a house on a piece of property, but at the end of my property, my Uncle Joe
Okay.
is parking his recreational vehicle, and he isn't sure when he's going to move it, but we're calling it seasonal. And I have a sewage line that's going right by his camper, and he's not hooking up. And he's taking his waste out of his holding tank. I know you say he's supposed to go to a dump site, but we're not sure he's taking it to a dump site, so is he taking it in the woods and that? We want to prevent that.
Mike, can you talk more, because essentially there's an issue with the occupancy permit. Isn't that where this will be policed? I mean, to some degree, like the length of time?
Well, enforcing the seasonal recreational use
Is a challenge.
it's more than a challenge because, I mean, the 12 municipalities that we enforce are pretty large.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to know when Uncle Joe parked his motorhome and when he took it out, came back.
Yeah.
It's really just kind of, this is what it is, type of informational type of.
So then I guess that begs the question, why are we doing this?
Because we've got all kinds of questions for people saying, well, I've got this RV, I want to park it in downtown, whatever. What's to keep me from tearing this house down and parking my camper here and living in my camper? And it's not us, because we can't do that. It comes down to trying to get our definitions in line with the construction code definitions and the industry definitions.
Yeah, I mean, the whole goal is to prevent people from using it as a permanent residence, right?
Exactly.
I mean, it's like if somebody parks on a camper next to the house, I mean, how would you know that someone else is living in the camper? I mean, and we don't have the staff to knock on every single door that there's a camper next door. I mean,
But you have the Uniform Construction Code at your disposal to police that.
Because we don't enforce that.
Okay.
That's done. All the municipalities, whether they're under the Warren County zoning ordinance or someone else, they all subcontract, with the exception of the city of Warren, with another entity that does that.
Okay.
So we have no enforcement with the construction code at all from the zoning aspect.
Okay.
These definitions, I guess if you can think of it, they're more like a public service announcement. Because if you're bringing a new structure onto property, you do need a zoning permit.
Mm-hmm.
And if Uncle Joe wants to bring his camper and put it on his parcel, we very well could issue him a permit, but it'd actually be a disservice because we'd be charging for the zoning permit. And in the end, he wouldn't be able to stay there because he wouldn't be able to get an occupancy permit. Unless it was a camp affidavit type of scenario, which is completely different.
But then the camp affidavit scenario makes you conform to the zoning regulations.
Yeah, with the Pennsylvania Recreational Cabin Affidavit, it excludes them from complying with the UCC construction code, with all the restrictions that are on the application. They can't live there full time, they can't get mail, and so on and so forth. But it doesn't exempt them from zoning, sewage enforcement, or the floodplain ordinance, or floodplain management.
Right.
yeah, I mean, because currently the problem is that the way the regulations are written, it's not clear as to what, I mean, that's what you're amending is to kind of further define what a recreational vehicle
Right.
is, to prevent somebody from using a recreational vehicle as a permanent residence.
Actually, the way it's written right now, it's kind of, I want to say, misrepresentation. Because what we're telling people, okay, you park this camper here, you stay there for 180 days, we consider it a mobile home. And it's never going to be a mobile home, a manufactured home, or anything else. It's still going to be an RV. So even though we give them a permit, they still can't get the occupancy permit from the UCC. They just won't allow it.
Okay. I have no further questions. I'd like to open it up to the public if anyone else has anything else.
Hi, my name is Lawrence Carrick, and I am second vice chair of Warren County Planning and Zoning. The ordinance that you have in front of you is not the ordinance that was passed by the Warren County Planning and Zoning. I would like to recommend that you remand this back to the Warren County Planning and Zoning so that we may address the issues that have been added or have been subtracted from our board. At that time, I'd like the board to then vote on an actual ordinance and re-present it to the commissioners for an actual ordinance. There is discrepancy of what was passed and what was changed in between the meantime. So that's where I would like to make that
Recommendation. Okay.
So what specifically was removed? Because there's only one item that I'm aware of that was removed, and it was something that was pretty vague that had to do with
Temporary.
the term, like a temporary
The
status.
time frame, which,
The time frame, at the time, we only approved the descriptions. We did not approve the 14-day rule.
Mm-hmm.
That was brought up at a meeting that the commissioners had with the realtors, and it came to my attention that it was passed, it was changed. The board, the Planning and Zoning Board, never approved that change.
You mean
So how can you alter what we passed on? That is my issue with this.
what you're saying, something was removed in regard to a 14-day clause. Is that?
There
Or added.
There was a clause
Added.
restricting temporary use that called for a time frame of 7 to 14 days.
Right.
That was removed.
And when was that removed?
I think we discussed it at the meeting that would be removed. I'd have to go back and check the notes.
It's not in our notes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure that's something that was removed between the Planning Commission and this meeting by the
Correct.
commissioners.
I'm not sure of the time frame.
And so with that said, maybe we should reconsider that, and then maybe at your planning and zoning meeting, your committee meeting, potentially put a definition in there in regard to seasonal.
Sure.
I mean, we still have action to take on this at our public meeting, so we can discuss it, I guess, further at that point. But thank you, Lori. I appreciate your comments. Does anyone else have any more comments?
It's Eric. I'm on the Warren County Board of Realtors. We came and met with the commissioners regarding the way this was approved at the Planning Commission meeting. And at that meeting, you had in there the 14-day limit, right?
That's correct.
And then what you're presenting today, that's been removed.
That's correct.
And that was removed after we had met with the commissioners. So,
I don't know when you met with the commissioners. So I
well, it
can't
was
comment
on
that.
January 18th. I believe Ian Watts was invited to the meeting. And in fact, I think it stated that you would be present too at that meeting. But now, are you saying that this went back before the board at the last meeting? Did they agree to modify this?
No, I'd have to go back and check my notes. I don't have them right here.
Okay.
We looked at the ordinance and made the recommendation to the Planning and Zoning Department to make that change before it was brought here.
We did make that recommendation, but in hearing what the committee vice chair has to say, it should have probably been formally
Right.
passed at the
And I
board.
don't think there's any issue with taking it back to the commission.
Okay.
This doesn't have to happen overnight.
Okay.
Yeah.
Out of curiosity, why do you want the 7 to 14 day?
We don't want it in there, but I'm separate from her decision. That board made the decision. They presented, whatever you call it, an ordinance or a proposal. That proposal then gets modified. Our concern is, if it can be modified and items taken out, can it be modified and items added in by your planning director or his assistant? You know, that is...
I had thought that the commissioners could do it as long as it was stated in a public meeting, so I'm not that I'm fighting for it.
Right.
I just want to know as a point of order.
I mean, at the end of the day, if we didn't like the ordinance, we would vote it down, and you'd have to rework it anyway. I mean,
Right.
so us making an edit prior to approving it, I mean, we're approving it in a public meeting.
And I really don't think it's an issue taking it back because defining seasonal and recreational could be very beneficial.
Right.
Sure.
I agree.
Seasonal will be easy enough. Recreation is going to be a little bit more complicated to define, but
I think we could fine tune it a bit.
Yeah, I don't see an issue.
I agree.
And I would say too, I can't speak for Ben or Cindy, but I think that generally we would like to work with anybody that would be willing to put input on this. I mean, it's not like we, are just dying to pass this ordinance, and we, I think that we're willing to talk to everybody and work with them on it.
And what we have these are merely definitions. It's not going to change the issue with the UCC not issuing occupancy permits for RVs.
Right, but the reason UCC, I believe, doesn't issue occupancy permits for RVs is because they are a vehicle.
No, it's because they're not built to UCC code. They're built to, I can't think of the name of it. I think it's an ENC code.
Right, because they are a vehicle.
Correct.
The UCC doesn't issue an occupancy for a vehicle.
Correct.
But that's not in your field anyways, right?
No.
Zoning doesn't issue you, or you don't handle the UCC, you don't handle the building code.
That's correct.
So that's beyond your scope as it is anyways. Another question I have, on your definitions, when you say manufactured, under the manufactured homes, it says they shall not be used as an accessory structure or storage shed.
That's correct.
Okay, define accessory structure.
Storage shed.
Okay.
These are meant to be lived in as a dwelling, not used as storing farm equipment or business equipment, and that's already covered in the ordinance under accessory structures.
So someone would be allowed to have a manufactured home placed on, say, a farmstead for a worker to live in, and you still have the main house, correct?
That would depend on the zoning of what parcel you're talking about.
If it's owned ACR.
Yes, they could have multiple dwellings.
Okay. Now, if someone moves out of that, then what, they have to destroy it or remove it once it goes vacant?
No, you're referring to a mobile home or?
To a manufactured home.
So, yeah, so, okay.
That's set on a foundation,
Right.
attached to utilities.
I don't really understand your question. If someone moved out, why would they have to destroy it?
You're saying it cannot be used as an accessory structure.
That's what I'm saying. That doesn't mean they have to destroy it. They just can't use it for storage.
Do they use it as an office?
Yes.
Do they use it as a shop?
I'd have to look. I couldn't answer that. This is to prevent in the ordinance, I can't tell you which one it is, using manufactured homes, mobile homes, if you will, as storage sheds. That's to prevent people from having, 3 old mobile homes sitting in their backyard and telling us that they're a storage shed for car parts or wood or what have you.
Are any structures currently being used as storage? Are they going to be grandfathered in? Or are they going to have to remove them?
It would depend when they were there. I mean, somebody could bring one in today. The Warren County zoning ordinance has been in effect since 1965. I don't know when that one came in. I'd have to do the research to find that out.
Are you talking mobile home or manufactured home or both?
Well, mobile homes ceased to exist after 1976.
That's correct.
So a manufactured home that was built in 1978, that still could not be used as a shed today.
Today. But we have a lot of them on the tax rolls that we're getting taxes for that are
And they're
there.
calling them sheds?
Absolutely. Under assessment law and appraisal law, we can call them that and tax them accordingly. So
That
of the
scenario-
12 municipalities, are you going to maybe remove them? And then are you going to notify the assessment office to remove them from the tax roll?
No, I think that's something that would have to be discussed with Dan Glotz. That's
But
kind of-
before an ordinance needs to be passed, there are a lot of questions.
But that ordinance already exists.
Well, they're still out there, so then we have structures out there that...
Right. And there probably are some that
of
have been out there for 30, 40 years. I couldn't answer that question.
Karen, could you explain why you would say they'd be taking it off the tax rolls?
Because we have assessment values on them, taxable values.
Yes.
But if they're a non-allowable legal use, are they going to be removed?
So you're saying if someone had a structure on their property, they were using it for storage, and then we decided that it was illegal, that we massively take all of these properties off of the tax rolls. I mean, how many structures are we legitimately talking about?
I think you're talking about I'm asking, what is the impact of people living in RVs year-round? Is it so significant that you need an ordinance? So if that's the case, then you can imagine how many structures we have that are being used as storage.
And again, we're just trying to update the definitions to align with the UCC definitions and the industry standards. We're not telling people they can't live in RVs year-round. That's the construction code telling them that, which we have no input on.
Well,
Yeah.
if you don't issue occupancy permits, you don't handle as far as building code enforcement. UCC is not something covered by your office. Then why are you making an issue of it?
Because there's 12 municipalities that we do zoning for. They handle the
But
occupancy
UCC
permit.
applies to all municipalities.
I understand that. We don't have any jurisdiction over the municipalities outside of the
Right.
12 that we zone.
This isn't something that's within.
No, but we had mentioned that earlier. Someone could come to me and ask me to issue them a zoning permit to put their fifth wheeler on a parcel if they want that to be their home. Now, I can do that, but that permit is actually meaningless because they can't live in there because they can't get an occupancy permit. So we're doing a disservice by misleading them thinking they can do that.
The other issue with saying you can't use a mobile home as an accessory structure, you're saying they probably could use it as an office. They might be able to use it as a machine shed, but you couldn't use it for storage. Problem under financing on a lot of these sites in Warren County where people have like a double wide manufactured home, a lot of times what they do, they purchase a site, it has an older mobile home on it, but it has the well and septic already in place. You place a new manufactured home, or in a couple of cases in Southwest Township, modular homes, the older mobile home, it's allowed to stay in place for FHA financing if it's considered as a storage shed, not a second dwelling. So as long as they don't have water and sewer hookups in it, or hooked to well and septic, then it doesn't have to be removed from the financing. By stating that you're not allowed to have it there as an accessory structure creates an issue of it's not a legal use. So now you have a non-conforming use of the property, which then you could have lending could decline to make the loan on it. So that creates other issues, other than the fact that their office doesn't, handle UCC. They don't handle building permits. They're just trying to make this more clear. It has ramifications beyond the zoning of 12 townships in Warren County. Beyond that, my other question is, what's the definition of a tiny house?
There isn't one.
There's no definition.
There's no definition. If you go on the internet, you talk to UCC people, you talk to RV people, there is no legal definition of a tiny house.
So there's no definition of a tiny house, but you're going to include it in your definitions.
That was put in there as a suggestion from the Planning and Zoning Commission board to add tiny house because it comes up.
But you have no definition.
No.
But it's in your definitions.
Okay.
Well, maybe we need to define tiny house if this goes back to the board. I think that we need to revisit this at the board level. Any further questions from the public? With none being said, I'd like to close this meeting and move on to our public portion of the meeting.
Move to approve the minutes from February 8th as presented.
I'll second that.
One quick thing, can we add a dollar symbol to agreement with ESI 1.17? Just put a dollar symbol in front of it.
Bottom of the page. All right. Any other corrections or comments regarding the minutes? With none being stated, all in favor of approving the February 8th minutes, please state aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. We'll move on to the fiscal report, please, Judy.
Okay, cash in the general fund account, $961,687.63. In the Erie restricted account, $744,472.08 for a total of $1,706,159.71. Coming out of the general fund this week, we have accounts payable of $182,997.35. Health care coming out this week, $52,212.38. Dental coming out at $3,808.60, leaving us a projected balance in the general fund of $722,669.30. Highest bills going out in accounts payable this week would be a subsidy going out to Forest Warren Department of Human Services for $80,950.41. Payment to the U.S. Postal Service of $15,000, which is just replenishing the postage on the meter. John Ingros, I'm not sure of the name there, an attorney, $8,558.30. Penelec bills totaling $7,894.30. P Corp deductibles $7,112.52. VigilNet $6,917.50, and $56,564.32 of miscellaneous bills that were all under $6,500 each.
It looks like before our next meeting we will want to draw from the TAN. I don't want to see it dip below $500,000.
Nope, $500,000 is the threshold that we put on there. That was established last year, and the treasurer and I have already talked about this, whether the first draw is going to be $500,000 or whether it's going to be $1 million, just because we don't have a lot of projected revenue coming in for the next few weeks. So we may, if we took $500,000 next week, in 2 more weeks, we'd probably be doing it again.
Right.
Could you, this John Ingros attorney, do you have any idea which office he's associated?
Court appointed.
Court appointed, okay.
Court appointed, I believe it relates to capital murder.
Okay. All right. I have no further questions.
Move to approve the fiscal report.
Second.
All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Judy. Next order of new business is a proclamation for the American Red Cross. We're being asked to adopt this proclamation for the American Red Cross for March 2017. The American Red Cross has been at the forefront of helping Americans prevent, prepare for, and respond to a variety of disasters. Yet the Red Cross depends on the support of the American people to sustain the foundation. The Warren County Commissioners formally recognize the Warren County chapter of the American Red Cross and its role in the community and the contributions made to make Warren County a better place. One of more than 700 chapters across the country who tirelessly serve their community, the Red Cross is a place where people give freely of their time and talent to help prevent human suffering among family, friends, neighbors, as well as strangers. Volunteers are the core of the American Red Cross, donating their time and energy to selflessly serve those in need by providing valuable tools and education to individuals, families, workplaces, and schools. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we, the Commissioners of Warren County, proclaim March 2017 as American Red Cross Month. We encourage all Warren County citizens to continue to give your time, your blood, money, to make a necessary difference in the humanitarian fabric of this community. Do I have a motion to adopt this proclamation?
So moved.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All in favor of adoption, please state aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Next item of new business is the appointment to the Warren County Hospital Authority. We've been asked to approve 2 terms that were set to expire this March 13th, 2017. Both members that they're asking us to approve have accepted to serve another 5-year term. There are 2 people, Mr. John Hanna, who lives at 313 Bird Avenue in Warren, and Mr. Blair Smolder, 56 Camp Street, Warren. The term expiration date would be effective March 13th, the effective date of term would begin March 13th, 2017 for 5 years. We have been asked to approve this by Richard Allen, the CEO of Warren General Hospital. I consulted with Mr. Allen and found that this authority meets once a year and basically is in charge of the bonds that they carry. Do I have a motion for approving?
I move to appoint Mr. Hanna and Mr. Smolder to the Warren County Hospital Authority Board.
I'll second that.
All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Next item of new business is a proclamation, National Gambling Awareness Month. March is National Problem Gambling Awareness Month. Whereas, on behalf of the citizens of Warren County, Pennsylvania, we are pleased to join Forest Warren Department of Human Services and Beacon Light Behavioral Health Systems Prevention Services in promoting March 2017 as National Problem Gambling Awareness Month in Warren County. Promoting the Awareness Month provides individuals in the problem gambling community an opportunity to educate the public and policymakers about the social and financial effectiveness of services available for problem gambling. Problem gambling is a public health issue affecting millions of Americans of all ages, races, and ethnic backgrounds in all communities, and which has a significant societal and economic cost. And whereas problem gambling is treatable and treatment is effective in minimizing the harm to both the individuals and society as a whole, and whereas numerous individuals, professionals, and organizations have dedicated their efforts to the education of the public about problem gambling and the availability and effectiveness of its treatments. And Forest Warren Department of Human Services and Beacon Light Behavioral Health Systems invite all residents of Warren County, Pennsylvania to participate in National Problem Gambling Awareness Month. Now, therefore, we, the Warren County Commissioners, do hereby proclaim the month of March 2017 as National Problem Gambling Awareness Month in Warren County, Pennsylvania, and encourage all citizens to help spread the message that there is help for problem gamblers through local resources and treatment, and encourage all citizens who either know someone who is personally struggling with moderating their gambling to seek free and confidential help locally. Do I have a motion to adopt this proclamation?
So moved.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All in favor of adopting this proclamation, please state aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is approval of the Ordinance 247, updating definitions for mobile home, RVs, etc.
It's actually 248.
Okay. Okay. And
No,
is the other one
no, it's-
247?
It's 247.
Then you have your ordinance numbers at the top, Ron.
248 was the floodplain.
Mhm.
248 is floodplain.
Yeah.
And 247 is the updating definition of mobile home?
Correct.
Okay.
And I move to table Ordinance 247, the mobile home RV.
I'll second that.
Okay. All in favor of tabling Ordinance 247, please state aye.
Aye.
Aye. Approval of Ordinance 248, updating floodplain regulations.
Before we move on, just to discuss what is our intention with 247, to then send this back to the Planning Commission and have them take a look at it, make more recommendations, and then come to an understanding of what everybody's comfortable with on this?
I
Yes.
think that was what was discussed in the public hearing.
Well, I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page.
Yeah. Lori?
Without respect to he tabled that, so to me, when you table that, it stays here until something happens. I'm hoping to remand it backwards so that it gets off the table, goes backwards to get reworded and come forward.
Goes back to committee.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we should remove it from the table?
I don't remember my Roberts that well.
I think it'll be fine if you guys take it back and have a look at it, and then
You're
we
right
have
that there is a motion to send it back to committee. So I move to send it back to the Planning Commission.
I'll second that.
Okay. So let's strike the motion to table, and we'll move to, the motion on the floor is to move the ordinance back to the Planning Commission for a decision. All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Now we're on the same page.
Next item of new business, School Resource Officer Program Agreement.
Point of order, floodplain. We didn't pass the flood.
Oh, okay, sorry. We'll move back to floodplain ordinance. We do have a motion, correct?
No.
No, okay.
I'll make a motion to approve Ordinance 248, which is an amendment to the floodplain regulations.
Second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Now we'll move on to School Resource Officer Program Agreement. This agreement has been presented to us by the Warren County School District, and we have been in discussions with our Sheriff's Office and the school district in regard to this. Our solicitor has reviewed this agreement, sent it on to us for our review. We've discussed this at several of our public work sessions. The solicitor recommended that if we do move on this, that the officers in charge of the program would receive training in regard to the school resource officer. So we would want to make sure that that happened. I open this up for discussion, or maybe we need a motion first to...
Yeah, I move to approve.
I will second that.
I would like some discussion first. Please, go ahead.
This is a big program that's been worked on between the county, specifically the Sheriff's Office. We had discussions with the District Attorney's Office and the school district. There were some issues that have been hashed out. In response to your question, there is training for school resource officers. That's exactly what it's called. It's the SRO, School Resource Officer. I think that is a very good point. I have no objections. I will certainly take those steps. This program, what it does is there would be a deputy that would be assigned to, and they would go to different schools because there are different high schools, etc. The agreement covers the wages of the deputy, and also for a marked vehicle, there would be a fee for that vehicle. And I can get back to you if you want me to. I will go back and get that information on the SRO program. I will also add that the school district has adopted what's called the ALICE program. I have deputies that are certified in ALICE. We had one deputy that was an instructor. He is no longer here, but we do have deputies, and there's also other classes coming up. We did a program with the school district for the ALICE program, and this, like I said, that's kind of what they're using now. So.
Okay. Thank you very much, Sheriff.
Was the budget passed with the understanding that we would be doing this, or will we have to make a budget amendment for both revenue and expenditure?
Are you increasing your staffing for this?
No. But I would.
Will you be increasing your hours? Current part-time deputy hours?
Well, the contract says not to exceed 25 hours. But there are, we're working on solutions.
Is the revenue listed?
No.
Okay, so we will have to make it do above.
Yeah.
Revenue was listed, no, whatever is going on with this.
Yeah, because there'll be a new revenue stream, and especially if you have added part-time deputies that are utilizing it, that'll be an added expense.
My concern was with the liability issues and our review with our insurance provider. Do we have anything back from
No,
him?
I don't, but if your solicitor
He
has
has.
gone over it, I don't think that the insurance company is going to...
It's just a
Trump
concern. I don't know
yes.
quite how that's being handled. Do you have an answer to that, Sheriff?
Yeah, just to clarify too, that I have researched. Erie County has 3 SROs. Erie County sheriffs have 3 SROs currently.
Okay.
Cumberland County just came on board, and there's a couple other counties that they're doing the same, basically the same thing.
Okay.
I have a question. Do you get reimbursed by the school district?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And is this just for the Warren County School District?
Yes.
Okay.
That's true.
How many officers are involved in this?
Sheriff?
There would be one assigned on a regular basis. There are times that the district may ask for a second, and I will have people designated because they want someone on a continuous basis, which I think is wise. So, and when they get a second one, they will reimburse the county for that. So it will be one deputy.
So prior to this program being implemented, the training will have taken place?
That would be my intention, yes.
Okay.
Or at least scheduled.
Okay.
And there'll be no money taken out of the county's funds to pay for this officer's wages and time at the school. The school district will pay his wages plus or reimburse the county for his wages and his time, however they figure it out.
That is correct.
So it's no cost to the taxpayers out of the county money. It's coming out of the school district's general fund to pay for this officer that they're asking.
Absolutely correct.
Yes.
Did you say this was going to be filled by part-time, or could it be part-time or full-time that it's filled by?
Full-time or part-time.
I'd just like to say that I would stress that the training happened prior to the engagement of the officer, just because there are a lot of issues with the school district that are, can cause liability outside of, like, everybody thinks somebody getting injured and everything. There's, investigations that take place and everything, and the person understanding how to function is important.
That is my main concern, and I would encourage that as well.
Are we, may I ask, are we directly billing for this now?
No.
Because if you have the choice to use part-time or full-time, you have a difference in what they're reimbursing for a benefit package on a person.
Well, I think that this is with the understanding of a fixed rate.
Yeah.
Like they're not just reimbursing us whatever we charge them. I mean, they have a certain number of hours, and so it's going to be budgeted that way.
Okay, so
we need to keep that in mind.
They are putting forth X number of dollars, and you will provide staffing that fits within that X number of dollars, similar to the Army Corps of Engineers patrol.
With the understanding that this was structured as it was a full-time with benefits, therefore, if we use part-time, we would be saving money.
Well, we wouldn't say. We will actually use up to what they allow. So if we staffed it with part-time, we may be able to provide more hours than if we staffed it with full-time?
No, we get a set number of dollars and a set number of hours. It's up to us how we staff. I mean, it's up to the sheriff how he staffs it.
Yeah, that is covered in Section 5 of the agreement.
There had been some discussion before about the county deductible, and that is covered in the agreement.
All right.
Are we approving this agreement as it is then? Is that what you're approving, is this agreement?
Well, I see that.
Unless there's another one somewhere else.
Before we can approve
It's got
that.
blanks for the dollar
Correct.
amounts in it, and that's what you're approving is?
Right. We are not
An
going to
open dollar
approve that
amount?
with a blank amount. So.
Okay.
No.
Right.
Yeah, I thought we had a specific dollar figure in there last time we looked at this.
We do have a dollar figure. It just isn't included on this one.
On the printout.
Yeah.
Well, what is the dollar figure?
Well, I think that's the only one I've got.
There's no dollar figure.
I did see that, so.
Yeah, it is. We've seen it.
It has to be in there. What we had figured was for the vehicle was $25 a day, and the hourly rate for the county decided was the hourly rate.
Yeah, I mean, our understanding is the hourly rate's going to be their wage.
Right,
I mean,
and that's what it is.
Whatever the part-time deputy rate is, which is.
Yes, we had discussed that, yes, the hourly rate was
The hourly rate will be filled in and correct upon passing the agreement. Should we table this until?
No, what's the part-time? What's the part-time rate?
$21.87.
With benefit, well, okay.
No, part-time.
Yeah.
I have a question on it. You've got part-time rate and full-time sheriff deputies rate. I mean, one day you may be paying a part-time deputy rate, the next day you may be paying a full-time
Yes,
deputy.
which is why we can't just put in the part-time deputy
Yeah.
rate.
The rate for full-time and part-time is the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. The rate of pay for either classification is the same.
But we can't just take that wage rate because it has to include salary benefits.
Okay.
So we can't just plug in 20 whatever.
No, I can't. Only if we agreed to only use part-time
Right.
officers.
We don't want to do that.
Do you want to?
Same rate.
Well,
We understand that,
Yeah.
but there's benefit package that would come into play, so we need to take that into consideration. So unless you're...
Earlier meeting, we had discussions about that.
Right.
so we have two options, well, three options. One, we can either pass it without it, which I don't think any of us want to do. Two, take a recess until you can get that number. Three, table for another meeting.
We've already got one table.
How quickly could you find that number?
Let me suggest this. Table it until the next meeting. I can get back to you with the training.
Thank you.
I
I think that's...
Okay, I move the table.
Okay.
We have a point of order. We have a motion on the floor. If you remove that.
That the table negates it.
Oh, it does? Well, there you go.
Okay, do
I'll
I have a
second
second? Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor of tabling school resource officer for further definition, please state aye.
Aye.
Aye. Changing signatures on the work release checking account is the next item on the agenda. And we have been asked to have the signature cards changed on a bank account, and I will refer to Judy for explanation on this.
In last year's financial audit, we have a few checking accounts that are maintained outside of the accounting standard software program, and the auditor's recommendation was to bring those packages, those different accounts in. We're in the process of bringing this particular account online with the AccuFund software. In the meantime, we have found out the signature on it does not agree with the signatures for the rest of our accounts, and it's the recommendation that it goes with all three commissioners and the treasurer's signature, as like all of our other accounts are. The bank requires this formally to be stated in a meeting before they can issue new signature cards for it.
Okay. I need a motion to approve changing the signatures on the work release checking account.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item of new business is proclamation for multiple sclerosis week. Multiple sclerosis, MS, is a neurological disease of the central nervous system affecting 2.3 million people worldwide. The National Multiple Sclerosis Society, Pennsylvania Keystone Chapter, reports that in our state, more than 23,000 people are living with MS, and that the disease generally strikes people in the prime of life, between ages 20 and through 50, and the cause and course of the often debilitating symptoms of MS remain unknown, and no cure currently exists. And the National Multiple Sclerosis Society has been committed for more than 70 years to a world free of MS, heightening public knowledge about and insight into the disease. And since 1946, the National Multiple Sclerosis Society has been a driving force of MS research, relentlessly pursuing prevention, treatments, and a cure, and has invested more than $900 million in groundbreaking research. And funds raised through the National Multiple Sclerosis Society fueled $42.1 million funding 380 research projects at the best medical centers, universities, and other institutions throughout the U.S. and abroad, leading to many breakthroughs in the treatment of MS. And stopping MS in its tracks, restoring what has been lost, and ending MS forever is the mission of the National Multiple Sclerosis Society, and one that all Americans and Pennsylvanians should support. And Warren County recognizes the importance of finding the cause and cure of MS, and expresses its appreciation for the dedication that the National Multiple Sclerosis Society, Pennsylvania Keystone Chapter, has shown toward creating a world free of MS. Now, therefore, we, the Commissioners of Warren County, hereby proclaim March 5th through the 11th, 2017, as MS Awareness Week, and do commend this observance to all of our citizens. We encourage all Pennsylvanians to learn more about multiple sclerosis and what they can do to support individuals with MS and their families. Do I have a motion to adopt this proclamation?
I make that motion.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Last item of new business is a Resolution 3082, authorization for 2017 Historic Preservation Grant application. We've been asked to adopt this resolution authorizing application to the Pennsylvania Historical and Museum Commission for a 2017 Keystone Historic Preservation Construction Grant. And I understand that we have been asked to do this by Dan Glotz, our Planning and Zoning Director. And Pam, would you like to give us the details of the request?
Actually,
I think.
yeah. So this is something that Dan's been working on as a part of our overall refurbishment of the courthouse. The idea here, this could be used for a number of things. Probably a good portion of it will be used to replace the heating system, but it's also could potentially be used for other refurbishments around the courthouse. So that's basically essentially what the grant's going to be used for, is to kind of mitigate some of the costs to rebuild, reconstruct, repaint, redo portions of the courthouse.
I move to approve an application from the county to the Pennsylvania Historical and Museum Commission for the 2017 Keystone Historic Preservation Construction Grant in the amount of $100,000.
I'll second that.
For discussion, Pam, I would really appreciate seeing this application prior to our signatures. All right, there's a motion on the floor. All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. With nothing further on the agenda, I'd like to open it up to any discussion or comments from everyone who's here today. Anyone who's interested? Anything further from the board? Okay, Ed, please.
Positive one.
No.
I'd just like to say I'm pretty happy with Brian Poole in the assessment office. He was able to produce me a set of zoning maps. You guys weren't here then, but I'd asked for them in 2008 from Dan Glotz, and he said he'd get them to me. I think back then maybe it was on a floppy disk. But asked Brian for them, took about a week, and got them. Pretty happy with that office. I think they all should get raises.
Thank you for those positive comments, Ed. We appreciate hearing our employees are doing a good job. Thank you.
Of the 5 or 6 different county assessments I deal with, they are the easiest ones to deal with. So the website's
He's
good.
not saying that just because I'm kidding.
Karen runs a tight ship.
Well, thank goodness he's saying something nice, yeah.
Right.
But yeah, the website works pretty good. The maps would be nice on there. But,
We're working on that.
Yeah.
you know, the fact that 11 o'clock at night, if I want to look something up, so that, and then if you got a question, you call in, they'll answer the question. They don't take a note. They don't, get left on a recorder. You don't have to wait for
Thank you for your comments, and thank you, Karen. Yes,
This guy.
please, sir.
Yeah, my name's Friggin Baker. I can't say I've had such good luck with them. I get round and round the clock here. I've been 2 years now trying to get an appeal taken care of up here. I come up here today to try and get on to discuss with you folks what we're doing over in Lander.
Okay.
Because it's like a stalemate. I tried to do it by myself. I use plain English. And apparently around here that doesn't, I had to do religious and legal, and it's still 2 years into this appeal that we got going. I mean, I run over 30 people through the homeless shelter up there. And we're getting nothing. No answers, no nothing. And we got to get something. Or we have to go about it a different way. I mean, I've been here trying to do this the court's way. I'm told right now, you folks are the holdup with us. Whether it's you don't understand what we're doing, whatever it is. But we got to open up the communications here, educate you on what it is we're doing. I'll grant you we're not dealing with the upper crust, as you people call them. I'm dealing with homeless people. You walk over them more times than not. But we have to take care of them. The vets that we take care of out there, we have to take care of them. So we have to have some help, because this is all very small donations. A lot of us, we work 24/7 up there, just to take care of them. It's like right now, I came off a job where we're doing some work on the widows. One of our vets that died, I'm there with the crew taking care of it so she can stay in that house, to come down here to try and get, so that we can get this moving. So we can get our nonprofit, we can get the tax taken care of up there, so that they don't have to worry about, down here we're under appeal, and we keep getting notices that you got to put it up for tax sale, when you won't even give us a time in court or open discussion with us about what we're doing. So we have to do something. I've sit back for almost 2 years now, and let the lawyers and everybody else, and just getting to the point where we're going to have to do something if we don't get some action down here, some understanding of what's going on. Now, the lawyer that we have, he doesn't recommend me to come down here because they're supposed to be dealing with it, but you ain't dealing with it. And we need you.
What exactly is your concern, Mr. Mayberry? What are you explaining to us, because I'm not following?
Well, on our taxes up there, it's way too high for what we're doing. Because it's a homeless shelter, but it's also, we educate our vets on. Unfortunately, the government trains them, then turns them loose here, and most of what they know can't be applied in the market here. I mean, there's not a job for a sniper out there. Nobody wants to pay them, or if they do, we'll be doing things that shouldn't be done.
So your issue
So we have
is
to re-educate, and we've got to house them, and we've got to be able, we work on their cars, because without cars, they can't get around.
Right.
They don't have freedom to movement. There's a lot of things that we do. I'm not real educated. I'm the pastor there. I do it by the actions that I do. That's why I need to be able to get so that some of my vets can come down here, and the others that know what's going on can explain to you what it is that we're doing and why it is that it's necessary.
So your concern is you've appealed your tax bill? Is that what you're telling us? That's what your appeal is on, your tax bill?
What?
Is that what you're appealing?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
I can't hear.
Okay.
That's kind of irritating to me that you don't have something for those of us that don't hear real well. I'm looking around reading lips to a small degree, but you ain't looking at me, so it's harder to read. My hearing's bad. I took a hit in the head here a couple of months ago, and the ringing's kind of bad. So I speak kind of loud, so I know you hear me. I don't hear you very well.
So you've appealed your tax bill, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
2 years ago, we made the appeal. I went in to a meeting downstairs to try to explain what it was I was doing. I'm not the most with the words, so these pencil pushers down there, of which there's a few of them, if I ain't mistaken, right here. One going out to boot. When I was there, I haven't even been able to get a transcript of that particular meeting there. They gave their decision and I'm appealing now. I haven't even been able to get a transcript of it. When I know there was one taken. The lawyer can't get me the transcript to help fight with this that's going on. I invited people then to come up and take a look because it's hard for me to explain all that we do with the outreach and everything that we are trying to do. But I couldn't get anybody to even come. They say my plain English isn't plain English, but it's called. Or whatever they were.
Well, there is a process in place.
But 2 years, and still nothing.
And you say you are represented by counsel, correct?
Well, I have one, yeah, supposedly. But again, I'm not getting anything. It's 2 years now. And I'm still getting notices. Now, I was told that you don't get a notice while you're under appeal. You ain't getting threatened all the time with a tax sale because you refuse to pay taxes. Because I won't pay the taxes till you give me a decision. So then if I can't get a good one here, I can go further on down the chain. But I can't do anything until something is, if they get together, they do something. And I'm told you folks are the one is where the holdup is.
If you're on appeal in the court, then it's up to your attorney.
And how do we get it moving along? I mean, do I got to bring 100 people down around here and stomp around the damn courthouse and try and bring attention to it? I mean, what exactly do I got to do?
I would recommend that you maybe come down to our office and speak to us more and give us more details about your situation. We'd be happy to discuss this with you.
And when is this?
Whenever you would like to meet with us. You could call our chief clerk and schedule an appointment if you'd like. Be happy to meet with you.
Well, I've done it with your predecessors. I've tried to do it. I will get Louis to make an appointment. We'll try it again.
Okay.
But I'm telling you, I'm getting frustrated.
Are you a 501c3?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
We're 501c3 because we're a church. We're in the process of doing the IRS. That's 100 friggin' pages long. Unbelievable, so. But we're in the process of doing that. But we have to have here, county cooperation to get through to the IRS. That's all part of it, I'm told.
Right. Well, you know, the county's job isn't to contact the IRS.
No. It's dealing with the tax issue up there about us being nonprofit. That's what we're talking about. We're 100% nonprofit. Everything we got goes there, goes out to help. In the community, I mean, you got your hospital down here when people down here could get discharged and have absolutely nowhere to go. They call up there and I got to go pick them up and bring them up and take care of them until you figure out where they go. But then we're not helping. That's the kind of nonsense that I'm getting tired of, and we got to bring attention to it somehow.
Okay, I certainly appreciate your comments, and we would be happy to meet with you, Mr. Mayberry.
We will see how happy you are about it when we contact you and we make an appointment, and we will come, and I'll bring somebody a little more civilized with me to try and communicate with you people.
Okay. We'll expect your call.
You will.
Okay. Any further comments? Mr. Scully?
I have a question. What township is this church in?
Is that Lander?
Lander.
Lander?
Farmington.
Farmington.
Why don't you get the supervisors of Farmington Township to meet with you and the individual from the church? Maybe there's something that isn't being brought out that they can tell you on as far as behind the taxes. And if they are working on veterans, maybe your supervisors up there would like to get a little more involved with helping veterans that have been using that.
Yeah, I think
We can do that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important to note that we don't see every appeal that comes through the
Correct.
county. I mean, we have an appeals board. They handle the appeals. It's to some degree separated from the commissioner's office. I've heard of your situation a little bit last year, like maybe in the spring, but like we've never had any formal request for a meeting or anything. We'd be happy to meet with you. We'd be happy to meet with anybody that has a concern about the county. We can't make any promises about what we can do, but we can certainly meet with you and hear you out and hear what you have to say or what your concerns are. I mean, absolutely.
Well, it's not only to hear me out, it's to hear them out. But a lot of it's hard to explain what we really do unless you're actually looking.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you explain that we got 3 shops set up right now, a garage set up, a wood shop, a bad shop that these guys can learn things in. We have a drum circle where instead of them coming out and going nuts out here, we go beat on drums down in the circle, and we try to take our frustrations out. There's all kinds of different ways and things that we do that I personally can't get, but I will get some of my guys to get a hold of you, and we will see. And I will come down, and I'll let them talk, and then I'll rant afterwards.
We appreciate that. Thank you.
I would move to adjourn.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I second that.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Meeting's adjourned.